Hi everyone, this is Mary. Welcome to Mindful Movement with Mary. So I don't know about you, but this year, 2020, has felt a little crazy, a little upside down. And there's a name for upside down poses in yoga. They're called inversions. We have flipped ourselves around and we have a different relationship to gravity. So today we're going to explore my favorite inversion, handstand, which is Adho Mukha Vrksasana in Sanskrit, which is downward facing tree pose. But don't be intimidated because inversions can be challenging. We are going to look at handstand from many different angles, many different relationships to gravity. And we're not going to worry if we can't get into the final pose because yoga is not about achieving a pose. It's about the journey and experiencing new things in our bodies. So for today's practice, you're going to need a strap and 2 blocks and a piece of open wall space. All right, but before we get started, please take a moment to look in the description below this video. Please support my work and subscribe to this channel. All right, so let's get started standing on the mat. So finding a comfortable stance where your feet are about hip distance apart and parallel. And grounding yourself in mountain pose. You might want to shift your weight forward and backward or side to side a little bit, just so that you can find center, find a place where your weight feels evenly balanced between the mound of the big toe, the mound of the little toe, and the heel. And as you root down through the feet and soften the tailbone toward the floor, also feel uplifted through the front of the body as if the chest and the crown of the head are floating up toward the ceiling. Mountain pose, Tadasana. And take a few minutes here just to set aside anything you don't need for the next hour, any worries, frustrations, to-do lists. You can set them all aside. They'll be waiting for you later, but you don't need them right now. All right, then slowly open the eyes. And we're going to begin opening the shoulders. So inhale, let the palms face forward and sweep the arms overhead toward the sky. And then exhale, lower the hands. And the last thing that happens is the palms face the legs again. Inhale, open to the front, lift up. Exhale, sweep the hands down. Turn the palms inward. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, lowering down. And one more time. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, lowering down. All right, so we're going to explore a shoulder, elbow, wrist warm-up exercise that I love. And it's a little complicated, so you might want to watch the first time, and then we'll do it together. You're going to inhale and bring your pinkies together, the pinky sides of the hands with the palms face up. Exhale, bend the elbows. The hands are going to come over the top of the head, and the fingertips are going to point down toward the earth. So the backs of the hands are together, the fingertips are pointing down. Then you're going to inhale, reverse that finger direction so the fingers are now pointing up. The backs of the hands are still together. And reach the hands up as far as you can. Exhale, release the hands, tracing a circle outside of your peripheral vision. All right, so we'll try that smoothly together. Inhale, pinky sides of the hands together. Exhale, over the top of the head, fingertips pointing down. I'm just turning so you can see me. Inhale, flip the fingers up, reach the hands up. Exhale, trace that circle. Good. A couple more times. Inhale, pinkies together. Exhale, over the top of the head, fingers down. Inhale, reverse. Reach up. Exhale, sweep out and down. Good. One more time. Inhale, pinkies together. Exhale, sweep over the head, fingers down. Inhale, flip the fingers up, reach up. Exhale, trace the shape of the sun. And then for a real challenge, can you reverse that whole pattern? It's a little bit of a brain teaser. You've got to really think through it. But try that. Maybe go back and forth a couple times. See if you can reverse. Reverse would be backs of the hands together, and then fingers pointing down, then over the front of the face and opening. Good. So play with that. Just one more moment here. Good. Beautiful job. All right, let that go. Shake out the arms a little bit. We're going to come toward the wall and do a couple more shoulder openers, because when we're doing handstand, we do need the ability to be able to have the arm straight overhead and be load bearing. So we want to make sure that it's really open. So we're going to face a wall. So facing the wall, your feet about 6 to 9 inches away from the wall. Palms are going to come up to the wall in a V shape. So the arms are at a diagonal. Leave the right palm where it is. Drop the left hand down. And then slowly start to rotate your torso away from the hand on the wall. So you're probably not going to come all the way perpendicular to the wall. That's very intense on the front of the shoulder joint. So go slowly, ease into it. And just pause when you start to feel a stretch through the front of the chest and the bicep. And think about the shoulder blade hugging the back of the ribs. Really make sure it's glued on, especially the little inferior wingtip there. Glued to the back of the rib cage. The palm is on the wall still. And if you want to intensify the stretch a little bit, you would, keeping the hand where it is, bend the knees a little bit and just sink the body down so that you put more stretch through the nerve and the fascia running in this direction. Good. And start to release. You're probably going to get some tingling, some heat flushing through that arm because we did just put that nerve on a stretch. So you might get some nerve sensation. All right. And we'll come back and do the other side. So standing about 6 to 9 inches away from the wall, palms on the wall. Keep the left hand where it is. Drop the right hand down. Turn away from the hand. Keep that shoulder blade hugging onto the ribs. Keep breathing. Sometimes we forget to breathe when we have an intense stretch happening somewhere. And then if you want to add that intensity, bending the knees, but leaving the hand glued to the wall. Just one more breath in and out. Good. Lowering the hand down. All right, so we're going to do one more set of wall stretches with the arms. Come back to the right hand on the wall. Actually, I'm going to stand over here so you can see me. So you're going to have, well, I'll mirror you. You're going to have your right hand on the wall, but it's going to be straight. So stand as far as you need away from the wall so the arm can be straight out from the shoulder. Palm is on the wall, fingertips pointing up. And then flip the palm upside down so that the fingertips are pointing down. And for this one, we're going to leave the body where it is. The hips and the legs are going to stay. Just the chest and head are going to rotate open toward the center of the room. And you're going to feel this more through the hand and the forearm, maybe up through the bicep. I call this our superhero pose because I feel like we're standing on the top of a building as if we have just saved the city and our cape is flying in the wind behind us. So feel that lift in the chest as you gaze across over the shoulder. Good. And release. And we'll do the other side. So other hand on the wall, straight out from the body. So don't stand so close that the arm is bent. Stand far enough away that the arm is straight. Fingertips pointing up and then fingertips pointing down. Palm is on the wall. And then just the chest and the head rotate open to the center of the room. And breathe. This can be very intense. This is also a great stretch if you've been doing a lot of typing, because this reverses the hand position from that little gripped position that we tend to get into. Good. And release. Excellent job. Shake out the arms. Come back to the center of your mat for a moment. Feet are hip distance and parallel. Hold the navel into the spine. Inhale. Reach the arms up. Flip the palms like you're standing on the ceiling. Feel really strong and stable, like you are one piece of solid wood from toes to hands. And here you are in a version of handstand. You're just in a different relationship to gravity, but this is handstand. The arms are straight and extended. The palms are extended. The navel is pulling into the spine to create a strong core. Good. So you've done handstand. See? It wasn't so bad. All right, so we're going to stand at the top of the mat, feet hip distance and parallel. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hinge and fold, coming into your forward fold. Releasing the crown of the head down. Maybe you want to bend the knees and then straighten the legs a little bit. Then begin to shift the weight into the left foot. Take a big step back with the right. And you're probably going to want your blocks here. I should have told you that. So finding your blocks, placing them to either side of the foot. So here you are, high lunge. Elongate the spine, look forward. Then lower the back knee down, coming into low lunge. You can keep the toes tucked or untucked today. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, draw them behind the body, interlace the fingers. Inhale, draw the hands away from the torso, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down to blocks, tucking the back toes under. Come back to high lunge. So inhale here, your high lunge. And then exhale, begin to straighten both legs. So straightening the front leg. That back heel is probably going to stay lifted. Then coming back to low lunge, both knees bend. Inhale. Exhale, straighten both legs, hinging over the front leg. Starting to work into the hamstrings. We do need some hamstring flexibility to help us kick up into handstand. So go back and forth here a few times, flowing with your breath. Inhaling forward, your low lunge. Exhaling, both legs straighten, hinging forward. And maybe you want to pause for a moment with both legs straight. And then bend into the front knee a little bit. Become light on the fingertips. Inhale, come up to crescent warrior. Reaching the fingers up. Exhale, we're going to twist toward the bent knee, toward the left, coming into your twisted high lunge. Outside of the right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. Good. Then inhale up. Exhale, hands down, and step back to downward facing dog. Good. If you want to take a moment here, pedal out the feet. That can always feel good. Pressing into the hands, elongating the spine. And then inhale, shift the weight forward to high plank. Shoulders come over the wrists. You can either lower your knees to come all the way to your belly, or just bend at the elbows, lowering yourself all the way down. Keeping the hands under the shoulders. We'll inhale to low cobra. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come back through all fours. And exhale to downward facing dog. And then walking the feet toward the hands so you're at the top of the mat again. Forward fold. Good job. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. All right, let's do the other side. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Fingertips down to the earth. Release the crown of the head. Begin to shift the weight into the right foot now and take a big step back with the left. Coming into your high lunge, you can have hands on blocks. Inhale, elongate the spine, look forward. Exhale, lower the knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands behind the body, interlace, and pull the hands away from the torso, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Keep the tailbone pointing down and the navel drawing into the spine. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back thigh up, coming into your high lunge again. And then inhale, look forward. Exhale, start to straighten both legs. Inhale, bend both legs. The knee can touch down on the back. And then straighten both legs. So the back heel stays lifted the whole time. Inhale. Exhale, straighten both legs. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, straighten the legs. Hinging over that front leg, maybe pausing for a moment so you can really feel out that hamstring stretch. Good, and then bending into the front knee, coming into high lunge. Inhale, come up, crescent warrior. Exhale, hands to the heart and twist. So the outside of the elbow to the outside of the knee. Take an inhale here, elongating the spine, and an exhale, twist. Inhale, bring the hands back down to frame the foot and step the right foot back, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, shift forward to high plank, shoulders come over the wrists. And then either lowering the knees or lowering through chaturanga, come all the way down to your belly. Good. From here, we're going to keep the arms straight down by the sides, palms face up. Inhale, root your pubic bone into the floor. Exhale, float the arms, head, neck off the chest, and chest and legs off the mat. Shavasana, locust pose. One more breath in. Exhale, lower down. Make a pillow with the hands. Shake the hips side to side. We're going to come back into that pose one more time here. So when you're ready, inhaling, rooting the pubic bone into the floor. Exhale, float the legs and arms, the head, neck, chest off the mat. From here, inhale, send the hands straight out to the sides. Exhale, pause. Inhale, reach the hands overhead. Exhale, pause. So here you are, and flip the palms just like you're doing handstand. Here you are in a different variation of handstand. A totally different relationship to the earth. It's a lot of work, a lot of strengthening happening through the back. Keep reaching out through the toes. Good, and then lower down, making a pillow with the hands. Placing the shoulders underneath pressing the hands underneath the shoulders. Press yourself up and come back into child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. Sit the hips back, rest the forehead on the earth. Reaching the arms straight out in front of you. Then you're going to start to come up. We're going to lay down on our backs for a moment, and you're going to have a block close by. So laying down on your back on the mat. And when you're here, we're going to place the block between the thighs so that you have a little engagement here, a little place to squeeze. And you're going to draw your attention to the rib cage. Can you hold the lower ribs onto the ground? So it's almost like you're pinning those lower ribs to the earth. And when you do that, you're going to start to feel a little core engagement here. This is this action we want of strengthening and stabilizing the core when we come up into handstand. So pinning the ribs down, can you raise the arms overhead while you keep the ribs pinning down? You may notice that as you reach the arms overhead, the ribs pop off the ground, or they want to. You're not going to let that happen today. So you're going to reach the arms overhead, hold the lower ribs to the ground, and see if you can maintain this. Then if you want a little bit of extra challenge, you'll float the legs too. So you're floating the legs, floating the arms. You're going to get a lot of shaking and quaking. That's okay. Good. Come on down. So that's another variation of handstand. Similar to the one we just did on our belly. We just flipped over and did it this way. And let's try that one more time. So starting with that engagement, the rib cage pinned to the ground. Reach the arms overhead. They're going to hover off the earth a few inches. And then can you also hover the legs? Hold those lower ribs down. Hold them down. Good. And release. Nice work. That can be very, very challenging. All right. So you're going to come to sit up on the mat in a seated position. So another thing we need to do to prepare the body for handstand is to warm up the wrists a little bit. The biggest complaint with handstand is that it's because you're totally weight bearing on the wrists. It can be a lot. So we'll just loosen things up a little bit. Let's interlace the fingers nice and loosely here and create some figure eights. So just having the hands and wrists be nice and loose, tracing figure eights, and then uninterlace, interlace with the opposite finger in front, and see if you can go the other way when you do your figure eights. That's another fun little brain teaser. Is there another way to do that? Good. All right. Find an ending for that. Bring the hands together in prayer, right in front of the heart. And then open the hands like you're opening a book, and keep on going until the backs of the hands are together and the thumbs are touching. And you might be feeling a lot of stretch right here across the top of the hand. If you're not feeling very much, what you can practice is lowering the hands down, but only as long as you can keep the backs of the hands together and the backs of the thumbs. So even if you can lower down, it's probably not going to be very far. Take another deep breath in. Deep breath out. And release. Shake it out. Get some blood going into this area. Good. All right. So I'm going to come to a kneeling position because that's comfortable for me. You could also sit on one of your blocks, but you're going to need your other block for this. And the reason why I'm kneeling is because I'm going to place the block on my thighs. I'm going to get my strap. And hold your strap, and it could be a scarf or a belt or a tie. Anything works here. Hold it so that your hands are about as wide as your shoulders. And really have a good grip on this, and try to rip the strap in half. So really activate, really pull the strap, pull your hands apart from each other. And you're going to feel the shoulder, the outside of the shoulder has started to activate here. And that's what we need. We need that activation. We need strength in the deltoids and the shoulders in order to do handstand. Good. So then, as you're pulling the strap apart, can you reach down with the elbows, pick up the block. Squeeze the block with the elbows, pull the strap apart. You're really going to feel some smoke coming out of the shoulders now. One more deep breath in and lower down. Release the strap for a moment. Let the shoulders relax. Good. All right, we'll try that one more time. So bringing the strap up, making sure that it's about shoulder width. Pull the strap apart. So I'm trying to rip the strap in half. Luckily the strap is very strong, so I can't actually do that. And then reach down with the elbows, pick up the block. Squeeze the block with the elbows, pull the hands apart at the same time. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And release. Good. Good job. That is not easy to do. All right, so you don't need the strap anymore. All right, so we're going to transition to some work at the wall now. And to do that, I'm going to move my mat so that the short edge is in contact with the wall. You're going to come over to the wall and stand facing the wall, and we'll practice downward facing dog at the wall. So hands, palms against the wall, step back so that you can have a long spine and straight arms, just like you would if you're doing downward facing dog at the floor. This is a little kinder on the wrists, and it actually gives you more length in the spine because you don't have to worry about pressure through the wrists. So this is actually another version of handstand, because I imagine that in some other crazy universe with different physical laws that we could float the legs up and be in sort of a horizontal handstand. So we'll try that with just one leg. So stepping the feet close together. Inhale, reach the right leg straight back behind you. So this is warrior 3 at the wall. So floating that leg till it's parallel with the earth. Hold the navel to the spine. Try to reach up from the inner thigh on the right leg. Good. Lower the leg down. Take a break. Maybe you want to shake out the wrists a little bit. We'll try the other side. So coming back to the wall, coming back to your downward facing dog at the wall. And then stepping the feet close together. Float the left leg up. So this is where I imagine, wouldn't it be cool if we could lift the other leg and hold this here? All right, and lower the leg. Step toward the wall to come up. We're going to just take a little break and do forward fold at the wall. So leaning the hips against the wall, have the feet about a foot away, and just come on down, leaning down. And why don't you take hold of opposite elbows and just let the upper body hang. Good, and then releasing the hands, bringing them by your hips on the wall, and use them to help you come up nice and slowly. Good. All right, so you're going to need one block because we're going to do a little measuring next for our next adventure. You're going to sit with your hips flush against the wall. You're going to take your block and place it right where your feet are. So make sure your feet are flexed. And that's your measurement for where your hands are going to go when we try a different variation of handstand. So leaving the block there for a moment, if you want to move it out, place your hands right down where that block was, or is, where the feet were. And that's how far away you know your legs can be and be straight when you go up the wall. So start to lift the hips up. Toes are down, heels against the wall. And then gently start to press into the wall, walking the feet up until you're creating this L shape with the body. So this is a half handstand. This is very intense. It's actually more work for the body to do this than actual handstand, and you'll see why in a moment. So practice that. Whew. Coming up and down maybe a few times. It's a lot of work. It's a lot. So if you even just get into half of that, that would be a huge achievement for the day. I'm going to try it one more time, bringing the hands down where I know the block was. Walking the feet up. And you really want to get the feet, the legs, so that they are parallel to the earth. So that you are in your L shape, just like you were during downward facing dog at the wall, but you flipped over. All right. And coming down. And resting for a moment. Maybe shake out the wrists a little bit. All right, so we have tried handstand in many ways. We have tried it standing up straight. We have tried it laying down on our stomachs and on our backs. And we've tried these half variations against the wall. So if you want, you can do any of those variations again, or you can try to come up into handstand against the wall. If you have a practice where handstand is accessible to you in the middle of the room, feel free to go for that. I'm not even there yet. I still need the wall. So the key for doing it against the wall, and I'm hoping this will work with my headset, is that the hands are going to be closer to the wall than you think. So the hands are only 2 or 3 inches away from the wall. And maybe, 2 or 3 inches. Tuck the toes under, come into downward facing dog. So here's where you're going to play with your hamstring length, because one leg is going to be the springing leg and one leg is going to be the kicking leg. And you're probably going to need a few attempts to come up and down. So I'll show you what that looks like. I have a springing leg and a kicking leg. And so you'll probably have a leg that's more natural to spring and more natural to kick. And if you're new at that, just go with that. Eventually what you're going to do is kick all the way up to the heels, touch the wall. So the beauty of this is that you don't need to worry because the wall is here to support you. So when you get here, hold the navel to the spine, press the feet up, press the hands down, look down at the hands, and maybe start to float a little bit away from the wall, but only if you're really engaged through the core. Good. And when you're ready, coming all the way down, and you're going to rest in child's pose. So handstand and any inversions really are very invigorating. And they'll really get your heart rate up. There's a lot going on. So it's important to try and calm all that energy down when you come down. And don't worry, don't place any judgments on yourself and your body for what you were able to do or not able to do today. Because much of handstand is not actually strength. It's proprioception. It's understanding where your body is in space. And once your body feels that, it's like riding a bike. You won't be able to forget it. But before you've actually done it, your body cannot imagine what that feels like. All right, so from your child's pose, you're just going to come all the way down to your belly. And we'll do some yummy shoulder stretches to reward our shoulders for all that hard work. So you're going to come up into Sphinx Pose briefly. So bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. And then taking the right hand, you're going to thread the right hand through till it's straight out, perpendicular from your body. So this is like thread the needle. It's a variation of thread the needle. But you're coming down and you're letting your weight be on the shoulder. It's a very intense shoulder stretch. So if you need to back off, you can lift up with the other hand a little bit. But try to let the body relax. Let the head come down. If you're not feeling much of a stretch at all, You can always bend the right knee and bring it up the side. So it's the same knee as is the arm that's going underneath. Good. And then we'll unwind the arm, bring it back up. Laying down on your belly, bring your arms up into a diamond shape. So the fingertips are going to touch, the elbows are bent, the arms are creating a diamond shape. It's just like if you're going through TSA at the airport and the hands are up. I guess your fingertips don't touch there, so maybe don't touch the fingertips. And then what you're going to do is leave the right hand where it is. Take your left hand, press it into the floor, and start to roll onto your side, floating the left leg behind you. So this is a stretch for the pecs, the front of the chest, just like we were doing at the wall earlier. We're just doing this in a different way, a different relationship to gravity. If you have openness in the hips and want to bend the legs so you place the foot on the floor, you're welcome to do that. I find that it's more comfortable just to float the leg behind my body. And it's a subtle stretch. It may not feel like a lot at first, but sometimes when you come out of it, that's when you really notice a difference in the shoulders. All right, coming back to center. Come up into Sphinx Pose. Maybe wiggle your shoulders a little bit. Notice if there's a difference from one side to the other. And then taking the left hand, threading it straight underneath. So it's straight out from the body, perpendicular to your torso. And then rest the forehead down. So we're stretching the outer shoulder here. The left hand, the palm is facing up toward the ceiling. Take another deep breath in. And relax, a long breath out. And pressing into the right hand, unwind. Bring your arms back up into that diamond shape, that shape like you're going through airport security. Leaving the left hand where it is. Take the right hand near the shoulder and press into that so that you roll onto your side. Floating the right leg behind you. Resting the head down. And it's hard to get the angle just right for these stretches with the pecs. It is a diagonal. It's not out to the side. It's not pointing up toward your head. It's really pointing out at almost a 45-degree angle. But it's going to depend a little bit on the shape of your body. So you can adjust your elbow maybe an inch or two up or down to see where the most stretch is. Good, and then rolling back down. And you, from here, you can just roll over and lay down on your backs. So coming into a comfortable position on your back, maybe you draw the knees into the chest, rock side to side. Then planting the feet down. We're going to cross the right leg all the way over the left. So like you're sitting in a chair with your legs crossed, knee over knee. Pick up the foot and hug the knees in. So feeling a stretch through the outer right hip. This is half Gomukhasana arms. So if you're familiar with that shape when we're seated, the cow face pose, this is just the legs. It's a variation of the legs. And then place the left foot back down. You're going to pick up the hips, shift them an inch or two to the right, and let the knees drop to the left. So coming into a twist. You can extend the right arm straight out to the side. Don't forget to breathe. Sometimes we stop breathing in twists when we really need to breathe more. We're twisting the torso, and so the breath can help massage all of our digestive organs and internal organs. Good, and then coming back to center. Uncross the legs, recenter the hips. And then cross the left leg all the way over the right, knee over knee. Pick up the right foot and hug the knees into the chest. So maybe your hands are interlacing on the bottom knee or shins, wherever you can reach to pull the knees in and feel a stretch in the left hip. Good. Then lower that foot down. Keep the hips, the knees stacked. You're going to shift the hips a couple inches to the left. Let the knees drop open and down to the right. And extending the left arm out on the mat. And you can direct your gaze toward the ceiling or over the left fingertips if you wish. And returning your attention to your breath. Feeling the breath flowing and helping to wring out all the tension through your core. And your next inhale, lifting the legs back up to the ceiling. Uncross the legs. Bringing the knees into the chest, rocking side to side. And then extending the legs straight out on the mat. Coming into your Shavasana. And make any last little adjustments you need to be even more comfortable. If you need to get a pillow or put a towel or blanket under the knees, that's a beautiful, comfortable position. If you want to cover yourself with a blanket or get a little eye pillow over your eyes, anything you can do to start directing your attention inward. Begin to notice the breath. Watch as the breath arrives, enters through the nostrils, and fills the chest, and inflates the belly. And then just notice as it leaves, and the belly softens down, the chest lowers down, and the air flows out of the nose. Feeling the natural rhythm of breath in and out. Letting your body be heavy and soft, completely supported by the earth. There's no need to hold anything up anymore. Just let everything be soft, everything be heavy. And you're welcome to stay here as long as you want today. But if you're ready to end your practice for now, begin to draw deeper inhales and exhales in and out through the nose. And begin to wiggle fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. And when you're ready, rolling to one side and pausing there just for a moment. Be grateful for your body and everything it can do. Be grateful for this community, this virtual community of friends in which we practice. And for someone else that you're grateful to have in your life. Use your hands to press yourself up to a seated position. Bringing the hands to the heart center. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste.